The chaos reigns.
Some kids are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Man. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. What's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you?
Nothing much.
Okay.
I got a message saying that you wanted me to come over and have a conversation with you today, so I'm more than happy to do so.
Yeah. So yeah, because the East Streets talk. I hear chatter, and there's this notion being peddled that I'm somehow a simp. I'm pandering to black women. All I do is talk down on black men. And what I wanted to get from you is what has caused you to arrive at that conclusion?
Well, of the three that you mentioned, I never thought of or called you a simp. So I
Okay.
want to get that, I want to get that straight right off the bat. Um, Mary, like I said, for the longest time, brother, I respected everything that you did. I
Mhm.
respected your show, the topics that you had. You even modded me for a while.
Right.
I first met you, and this is just a little bit of history, but I first met you, of course, over on Cynthia G's channel. During that time, you were talking the same talking points that you are now.
Hmm.
A year or two into that, you switched up and you started talking about how the government. This is what you were saying at the time. How the government put black men out. You explained how. You explained how during the '60s, before the advent of feminism and the government putting black men out of the home because of welfare, you were explaining that that was the reason that would broke up the family units in the black community. But now again, here in 2023, you're saying something along the lines of what you when you first came onto YouTube with Cynthia G. So what I'm saying is you kind of flip flopping. You
Hmm.
first came on and talked about black men, and you came on, you talked about black women and the issues of the reasons why black men were put out the home and how the community is now. And then now you're back on the train of black men are the issue. Now you mentioned several things before I came up: Kevin Samuels, Jeezy, Trump, the divesters. You talked about single mothers, crack, passport brothers. Um, you said that you talked about how black men are the most um, involved fathers, but yet we're not in the homes. So I just want to touch on on a few of these points that you made that you talked about, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you do that, but real quick, let me just clarify. I've never said that the government put black men out for welfare. I've never said that. Literally, have never said that because number one, I don't believe that, and number two, the research that I've done doesn't point in that direction. What I did say was this: if you tell me that black men were taken out of the home, then you have to show me where those black men went. Just millions of black men just didn't disappear like the Thanos snap in Infinity War. Where the only place that we see an influx of black men, the only two places is in prison and the graveyard. So I have talked about from the perspective of mass incarceration that there was a program implemented to funnel black men into prison. We can see this when you go look at the uh, federal government's analysis of institutions and corrections all the way up until 19. I don't even think we realize up until 1986, a majority of the prison population was white men. It wasn't black men. It didn't.
It's the same way today.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It didn't switch till 1986. Now, black men were disproportionately in prison, but we don't see it flip in reverse to being the reverse thing where black men outnumber white men in prisons starting in the 1960s all the way up to the 1980s. People like Larry Elder and other conservatives will never talk about that because that's a part of their agenda. Part of the agenda is mass incarceration. The ALEC Corporation, the ALEC Foundation, which creates a lot of these bills at the state level. They create a lot of these bills that funnel black people, black men into prison. So Larry Elder is never going to get on social media and talk about how mass incarceration has taken black men out the home. He's going to redirect it and bring it to welfare. It's a political sleight of hand that black people fall for because they don't.
But both of those are both are the cause. Black men were put out the house because of welfare, because the black man couldn't be in the home if he had children, and the wife wanted to get any type of benefits, support. The man couldn't be in the home, so that's part of it as well.
But let me ask you a question. You're talking about that the policy. Look, that policy of a man couldn't be in the home. That policy was something that was implemented first and foremost by Republicans. See, because what people like that,
whoever implemented it, doesn't matter. It still put black men out the homes.
Yeah, but that's not the point. The fact of the matter
is the point. That is the point. But it is.
Okay, okay. So how long was that law on the books? It was only on the books 3 years.
Right, but and during those years, go ahead, bro.
Right, but we're talking about if that section of the law that was added to the bill to get it passed, because contrary to what we believe, all legislation is bipartisan, unless you have just super majorities. But all legislation is bipartisan, so Republicans get to put certain stuff in that bill, and it was the Republicans who put in the bill this idea about a man not being in the home. But what I'm saying is, the only reason why they put that in the home was to control the sexual behavior of black women, because from their perspective, black women were wanton and they would just be sleeping with anybody. That rule didn't even apply to the home, and that rule applied to the son. So this is what I'm saying. If that rule took black women's maid out the home, why didn't take our sons out the home? Because it applied to our sons. That applied to any male.
Because those were her children.
Hold on. That applied.
It only applied to the father, not the sons.
It applied to the son as well. It applied to
the fathers, not the sons.
It applied to any man who could operate and function.
Who had children.
Yes.
And the mother needed support for that child. The father had to be out of the home.
Listen, brother.
Amiri, you know this. You talked about this when you were talking about black men and why they were put out the home. You said you didn't. You said you never talked about it, but you did.
No, I did.
But you did. Because it's not the sons. The sons has nothing to do with because the sons are getting the welfare. The sons are getting the benefits because of the mother going on welfare. The fathers had to be out the home. Amiri, you know that.
Go look at the law. Yeah, see, this people are just making assumptions.
Okay, with the law is because but Amiri, what's written in many laws are not implemented the way that they're written. Now, we know damn well that if you are a son, your mother is on welfare, you're going to be on welfare until you're 18 years old if she doesn't get a job. We know that. The father could not be in the home. At that time, fathers could not be in the home. Now, the weird thing about it was only applied to black fathers. White fathers could be in the home, but the black fathers could not be in the home.
I just told you why Republicans put that in. That again,
regardless of who put it in, Amiri. Okay, we've established that Republicans put it in. We know that now. Okay, fine. But that's the reason why the black men were not in the home. You know that.
This is what I'm talking about. See how he keeps saying father? See, he's going to ignore. This is what the brothers do. They ignore that one time father and husband were supposed to be synonymous. See, so you're talking about men who was making children with women they weren't married to. So from the government's perspective, there was no home. There was no functional home to destabilize with the policy, because these were men making children with women they weren't married to. So what the government said is what the Republicans were saying. Okay, so if these men and women are going to have children and not be married, this is becoming a burden for the government. Let's put a policy in place to make it hard for women to cohabitate and fornicate and procreate with men who aren't married. That law did not apply to married black men and black women. This is what black men need to understand. Father and husband is synonymous. Okay, you do not get to make children out of wedlock and then think you still get all the pleasures of being a husband and a father. This is what I be talking about with brothers. See, they really think somebody doing something to them. But if you're making children out of wedlock, from the government's perspective, there is no family to destabilize because it's already dysfunctional. Because you're not supposed to be making children with a woman you ain't married to. That's why the Republicans came up with that policy, because for what they were saying is that this black woman is wanton and she's sleeping with all her paramours. This is what Senator Robert Byrd characterized black men as when he had the congressional hearings on welfare and its effect on American families. They didn't find that black men were putting black men out the home. Look at and I'm gonna unmute you, D.O.D. Look at the King v. And see, it's no matter what you tell him, he's still gonna say what he's saying. Look at the King v. Smith case. That's what got the man in the house rule stricken from the home. Because what they found was that Miss King, she wasn't putting men out. She was using the welfare to take care of the men and the children. And so what the government has been saying, the argument that Republicans have been making is that black women have been committing fraud. Because they've been getting welfare, saying they don't have a man when they have one. That Robert Byrd called black men paramours. So they don't even understand the debate. So when you see a Larry Elder talking about it removed men from the home, he's saying it from the perspective of being a husband and a father. You're supposed to have children. You're married. You're supposed to have children with a woman you're married to. Black men think just so I had a child with her, they just taking me out the home. You ain't married to the woman. You're supposed to be married to the woman. That's what they were saying. Now let me unmute you, D.O.D. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay, Amiri, because I respect you and your show and people in your show, you muted me. Now, I was over speaking with Taz one night and that clown muted me and I just dropped off. But if I'm going to be muted every time I have a conversation with people, I'm just going to drop off from here too. But I'm giving you the respect that I didn't give Taz, because I give you much more respect than that clown for asking you if you're going to, don't mute me. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, go ahead. I mean, I'm willing to have, I don't like to mute people. I'm willing to have the back and forth. So go ahead. All right, go ahead. Okay.
So again, Amiri, regardless if it's the Republicans, the Democrats, bipartisan, it doesn't matter when it came to black men were being put out the home. Now you're saying that it was black men who weren't married to these black women. Now these black women, because it's what you said before, were having all these children, and it's happening to this day, having all these children with all these different men. And you just said yourself that the government got tired. Now, before I get into that, we all know that this welfare system and all that shit started because white men was leaving their white wives, their white women homeless, or without a man in the home. So it started because of white men abandoning their children and their family, be it they're married or they were just shacking up with someone. So we're going to start with that, because it always seems to come down to the black man being the one that's doing the most when it comes to having having fatherless homes. We all know that it's the white man that has the most fatherless homes here in America and abroad. So just to get that cleared up.
Right, but my ultimate contention with the state of the black community and black men and black women is not necessarily fatherlessness. My contention has been is that it's economics. It's economical in terms of the mating dynamics and how those things play out and work themselves out. As I've stated before, and as Chris Grandison has stated, even on my show, a lot of this has to do with the fact that in a given black area, there are more black women than black men. And when that is the gender ratio, the men don't prioritize long-term mating arrangements. They prioritize short-term mating arrangements. That's not me saying that. That's what evolutionary psychologist Chris Grandison has said, and that he outlined in his book, Racial Hierarchy. I forgot the full title, but the racial hierarchy that he talks about. And so we have to be real about that situation. We have to be real about the fact that it's just like what you was talking about, where black women have children with all these men, but we'll never talk about the fact that out of every demographic, black men have the most children with the most women. Black men.
That's not true. That's not true. That's what I'm saying. That's not true.
How is it not true?
That's totally not true. It's the white man that has more children. It's the white man that has more children with more different races of women, and they're not in the home.
But they in the society though. Even
what society?
The society by and large is still something that's dominated by white men. They dominate entertainment. They dominate sports. They dominate politics. They dominate business. The society in and of itself is still white male dominated.
Okay.
So he had.
So what I'm talking right, but what I'm saying is, what I'm saying. Go ahead.
I mean, he doesn't have to seek to try and control the household, because you know what he can do? He can go right there and create a law like what he just did when he overturned Roe v. Wade, his own law. See what I'm saying? So he controls.
But Amiri, right? But Amiri, we're talking about just everyday people. I'm talking about people just 9 to 5 white men who go to work every day and who cheats on their white wives and have multiple children by different races of women. That's who I'm talking about. Yes, of course, when the like you said, the hierarchy catches wind of what's going on, because believe you me, those peckerwoods here in America, they take track of everything. And when they see an uptick of white men going out to multiple women and multiple races and having children by these women and then abandoning them, they're going to do something about it. We know that, Amiri. You used to talk about that, Amiri. But now it seems that you don't remember those days.
No, they're gonna do something about what? I've never
they're going to do something, just like you said, Roe v. Wade. They're going to do something about whatever the situation. If it's abortion, the peckerwoods, sooner or later, they're going to go head on and they're going to do something about it. If it's white men or black men, Asian and Hispanic men, leaving women with babies and children to raise, multiple children to raise, they're going to do something about it. When they first adopted the child welfare, make the child welfare law, it was because of white men abandoning their children.
Well, I won't even say it's because of white men abandoning. It was because of they passed that stuff because of the Great Depression. That's really
right. But because the white men were leaving their families, they're abandoning their families.
It wasn't just.
You know that, Amiri. Come on, brother. You know that. No,
look, it wasn't just because they were abandoning their families. It was because of the Great Depression, and you had World War I, and you had World War II. There was a drain on the white male population. There was a drain.
Okay.
Population because of those wars. From the public policy side of it, Franklin Roosevelt had to find a way to steady the economic ship of America, right? And to get the economy back on track. So after you stabilize it, how do we get the economy back on track? That's when they came up with the New Deal policies. That's when they came up with a lot of the policies that ushered white America into middle class status. I don't think we understand for up until that time, there really wasn't a middle class. They really was. The government created the middle class, and one of the things that helps undergird the middle class is a strong social safety net and a strong welfare policy. And keep in mind too, while this is going on, while they're putting all this stuff in place and giving white men access to the GI Bill and all these different things, and giving white women access to welfare, black people themselves were excluded, even excluded from getting welfare.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? So, but this
that's what I'm saying.
At this conclusion Now, how do we just arrive at this conclusion that it's merely the women put us out the home? It's just like what I was just telling you. I know more than any other demographic or group in this country, the only one who I see talk about having children as if he doesn't have to do it behind the walls of matrimony is this black man. He think he just supposed to just have access to the kid. He's supposed to have custody and he ain't supposed to go through no drama. You signing up for that because you don't want to marry the woman. And the reason why I know you don't want to marry because you got another woman over here who hot to trot. You got another one on the other side of town who you still want to know if her drawers wet. You see what I'm saying? You got all these options. You got all these options. And so you don't want to commit to just one. And if what I'm saying ain't true, then who's the one running around here talking about he can passport, bro. He can date out and he can do all this, but the woman can't. That's what they be saying, brother. They be like,
so now we're gonna pivot over to the passport brothers and the divestors now, because I would love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, real quick, but I do want to show you something because I want to show you something.
I'm waiting. I'll wait. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, you see this? Y'all see this? Now, this isn't me just making this up. This is the CDC. You know what I'm saying? This is the same age group that men like Media Man and a lot of sitting them would use to try and say that they ain't got nothing to do with what's going on. But they love to talk about how they only a minority of them have kids. But what you find is that out of every demographic of men, the black man has the most children with the most different women. He got the most baby mamas out of everybody.
But Amiri, how can that be when just 3 minutes ago you said you agreed that it was the white man because the white man has all these economic? That's what you said, brother.
I just brought up another point, but I don't mean I agree because I'm looking at what this says. Look at what this says. It says multiple partner fertility has been found to vary by race and ethnicity, with evidence suggesting that the prevalence is highest among non-Hispanic African-American men. They're never going to address that. They're going to pretend like it don't exist. These same brothers who online running them up, they're going to pretend like this isn't a real statistic. And now this is what's funny about it. And when you break it down, if you're telling me that it says nearly 1/3, think about that. 1/3 of African-American men report having fathered children by more than one woman, compared with 17% of Hispanic men and 14% of non-Hispanic men. Now,
do you believe that? Wait a minute. Time out. So you honestly believe that white men only have fathered children from other different races of women at a 14% clip?
Well, it doesn't even say based on race. It's just saying what race of men has the highest multiple partner fertility.
Oh, okay, that's okay. And so again, you believe the white man doesn't have more than black men?
No, why would I believe that when I can look at this right here? See, the white man gonna get married. He gonna settle down. The one who want to be a player, the one who want to be a pimp, and the one who want to be a Mac and who idolize that stuff is this black male. That's just a part of our culture. Why can't we be honest?
Okay, but Amiri, again, black men marry black women at an 80% clip, and black women are married to black men at 93%.
Brother,
so how can that be? I'm about to
tell you how. Because
for the ones who are married,
brother, only 30% of us get married. The marriage rate in the black community is 30-something%, which means that a vast majority of black men and black women don't get married. Now, even of that 30% that gets married, some of that might be it might be interracial or intercultural marriages. Some of that might be gay marriages, and some of that might be was one more thing I want to talk about. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that's not even talking about black men being married specifically to a black woman. You see what I'm saying? And vice versa. But what I'm saying is the overwhelming majority, that's what I wanted to say. That's not talking about the black men and black women who get divorced. Black men and black women have the highest divorce rate. And listen, the stuff that I'm saying, this ain't to vilify black men. What I try and get to is the larger environment and ecology that black men and black women exist in that exerts immense amount of pressure on them. And this is the reason why we see a lot of these problems. But what it is with the black man, he don't want me to talk about that. He want to sit here and pretend like he got it going on, like he an East Indian, like he's an Asian, like he's a white. Because then what he want to do is he want to talk about how the East Indian and the Asian and the white woman is all better than his woman, but he don't want to acknowledge the fact that he ain't doing what he's supposed to fucking do.
Well, but what would that have to do with the women, though? Let me put it this way then. If and I'm not saying black women are not, because I love black women. I've only ever been with black women. But what I'm saying is, if the black man ain't doing what he's supposed to do, as you said, and that's what's causing these black women to be masculine or whatever else, why isn't any other race of man jumping to be with black women? Why are there so many black women unmarried? When you have these Asians, these Hispanics, and these white men here on this planet, why aren't they marrying the black woman?
Well, because by and large, for the most part, people are gonna choose and mate with what they're familiar with. They're gonna do that. There you go. White men, by and large, are going to marry white women, vice versa. Same thing with East Indians, Asian. The only difference that we see
is Asian women.
We're Asian women now, but the only difference that we see on the man side, who don't prefer his woman, is this black man. Since the end of anti-miscegenation laws, he has dated out and married out more than any other demographic. This is what I'm telling you.
So again, right. So that's true. But again, why is that?
It's because he's gonna always view everything else better than his own. It's the same reason why he won't.
Why?
Hold on, D.O.D. It's the same reason why they won't support a HBCU. It's the same reason, like the reason why you see HBCUs declining. We already know why. Because when black people graduate from them, they don't donate like the alumni of other institutions of PWI. See, he gonna leave that. See, his thing is he always want to do just enough to leave the black community and the blackness behind. And air quotation, become mainstream or make it into the white sector. He crossed over. He done translated now. So now he's elevated. See, everything in this society, if you look at it from the perspective of race, black is on the bottom. So anything that's black is going to be what? Devalued. But he want me to sit up here and pretend like he don't devalue this black woman because she black. It's because she masculine. It's because she got an attitude. It's because she don't know how. It's because she don't know how to wash her box. All this bullshit. When at the end of the day, he don't prefer this black woman because she black. And this is what I'm not gonna let him run from.
Okay, but again, Amiri, but you're making it sound like it's every black man on the planet. It's a small percentage of black men that do that. Just like there's a small percentage of black women who date out, who want to be divested. We know that.
I won't even say it's a small percentage. What I would say is it may not be a majority, but the argument that I would make when it comes to that is it does not have to be a majority. See, in order for a pathology to exist and function, you don't need a majority of the body participating in it. You only need.
So then, what is the black woman's pathology when it comes to dating out? Then
hold on, brother. Let me finish. It only takes a plurality of a people participating in a pathology for it to exist and function. You never need a majority. So I wouldn't even. The point that I'm making with this is that because of the numbers, because of the gender ratio imbalance, because of our economic precarity, because of all these issues, when the black man evacuates, when the black man date out, when he leaves, it has a much more adverse impact on his community and this black woman, and he knows it. That's why he's using it to be punitive. He knows that. He knows that. And so this one is options and all. It's like being rewarded for losing. Think about it. It's like being rewarded for losing. He's rewarded because he's in the bottom position. He gets all these rewards and privileges. And the only time he want to talk about the fact that he's at the bottom is when he can use it to say it's unfair and it's unjust, and he can use that for sympathy. He's never going to talk about it. Wait a minute. He's never going to talk about it from the perspective of confronting it and addressing it and solving it. Never. He only want to use it for sympathy. Booker T. Washington wasn't lying. Go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying that the black man being on the bottom, he will leave his women to go get with other women as a reward?
I'm not saying that.
So what are you saying? What
I'm saying is if you're in a situation where you know that by and large, you have all these mating options amongst black women. And then because the anti-miscegenation laws are lax, so now you get a new influx of access to new pussy. You want some of that new exotic pussy. Okay? And we got to stop here pretending like that ain't been in brother psychology. I said, go listen to Tariq when he confronting people on his bullshit Twitter rooms, and the moment this white boy start giving him some work when it come to real intellectualism and facts and talking about history, he gonna revert to that because so many white people.
Wait. But hold on. Let me make sure I get this right. So because these certain black men are opening up their options, you're saying I don't understand this, because these black men, the small percentage of black men who are accessing their options and going to other women, it has to do with what? I'm still trying to understand what you're saying. I don't get it.
You devalue blackness. It's the same.
So go ahead.
This is all a manifestation of the same thing. We devalue blackness. It's all a man. It's the reason why. He won't build an economic base. It's the reason why he ain't gonna support black businesses. It's the same. It's the reason why he gonna pump a baby in this woman, but they ain't gonna marry her. It's the same reason why we devalue blackness. You know why? Because what we believe is that we are under no burden to provide a better product. We believe that this person should just do it and accept it and go with it because we're black and they're black. That's what we peddle. And it gets peddled the same thing over and over again. The politicians do it when it comes to black people. Support me because I'm black. Business people do it because business people do it. Support my black business because it's black. Not support my black business because I have the best product or because I have superior customer service. None of the principles that undergirds these frameworks of human interaction do we want to go by. We just want to go by, do it because I'm black and you're black. And it's different when it comes to mating. So
when it comes to mating, what's the difference when it comes to mating?
When it comes to mating, what brothers want to say is, choose me because I'm black. Not choose me because I just so happen to be the most handsome man. Not choose me.
And if they don't choose him because he's black, then what is he supposed to do?
What you mean?
If the black woman don't choose him because he's black, what is he supposed to do? Is he supposed to say, well, okay, I'm just going to be without a woman? Or is he going to do like you said and venture out to these other ethnic groups?
No, he has to actually put up a competition. He has to actually be the best.
But how is he getting these other? That's what I'm saying. That's where the flaw comes in the argument. He can't compete for his own woman, but he's obviously competing for other women, white women, Hispanic, and Asian women.
Other women.
Because you said yourself that the black man is married out more than any other man, so he's competing with all these other races of men for their women, right?
You know why the white woman doesn't have to depend on him for provision? Because her white man provides, he runs the society. That's
so
right.
Okay. Hold on. When you say the white man provides for the white woman, so she don't worry about, what do you mean? What is he providing?
What do you mean? What I mean?
What is he providing? What is he providing that white woman if she's married to a black man? What is the government providing for that white woman?
We just had this conversation.
Well, I'm asking.
See, the white woman can fall back on being white.
Okay. She's always white. What do you mean fall back on it? She's been white. Even if she's married to a black man, she's white. What do you mean fall back on it?
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Who makes more? White men? I mean, who makes more? White women or black men?
White women or black men? White women.
Exactly. So you see why she doesn't have.
But so do white men.
So wait a minute. So her mandate isn't going to be the same as a black woman's mandate because she make more than him, but she don't make more. She don't make more than him. Wait a minute. She doesn't make more than him because he's black. Because he's a black man. She make more than him. You know why? Because her daddy or her brother or her son or her nephew or her uncle own a business or
because we're in a society ran by white people, created by white people.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying.
Right. So what is the okay? That's what I'm saying. So, but you kept saying that the white woman falls back on on the white man.
What you mean?
That's her backup is the white man, right? If she
But,
marries a black man, you said she doesn't have to worry about it because her backup is the white man.
but you do realize that most black people, this black men and black women, are not employed in the private sector. Most of the private sector jobs are dominated by white men and white women. Most
Of
black
course.
right, most black people work in the public sector or for the government. That means UPS, the United States Postal Service. They might work for water. They might work for sanitation. A few of us work in corporate America. You know what I mean? But by and large,
Well, it's not a few.
most black people work for some type of government entity, whether that's on the local level, the state level, the federal government, military. But what I'm saying is this: is that the white woman ain't gonna put the same mandate on a black man that a black woman would. She's not gonna put the same mandate on him. It's gonna be Hold up, D.O.D. Listen, it ain't like I'm just saying this. If you listen to the brothers talk, this is what they say. The white woman gonna take it easier on me than the black woman. But see, he'll never. We want to act like.
So what about the Asian and the Hispanic women then?
It's the same dynamic.
Oh, okay. See, that's where you're losing me now. I can almost understand what you're saying when you say the white woman, but when you try to tell me the same mandate is applied when it's a black man and a Hispanic woman.
Yes, like Hispanic. Hispanic is not a race. That's number one, and then number two.
So why are we saying Hispanic women then, or Asian, or black women, or you know what I'm saying?
Listen, the only woman.
So we put them in groups for a reason to identify.
D.O.D. The only woman who's going to put that type of mandate on the black man is this black woman. That's it.
Okay, but what kind of okay? Then explain to me the mandate that you're talking about.
What you mean? The mandate.
So what I'm asking, I'm trying to say. So you're trying to tell me all these other races of women, when they get with black men, they have low expectations or no expectations of them?
I didn't say low expectations, but they got backup. Look, it's not me just making it up.
Let me ask you this: if a black man and a white woman get married, and let's say in 5 years the black man and the white woman divorce, what is she falling back on?
What you mean?
Well, you just said that if something happens with the white woman and the black man, that she has the white man to fall back on, so she doesn't hold the black man.
You can interchange. Look at it like this: you can interchange white man with her education, and you can interchange white man with her employment. That's all you got to do. Because, brother, we ain't in control of none of that.
No, right? No, but I'm okay. I'm trying to understand.
Let me ask you a question. If what I'm saying isn't true, why is it when a black man is married to a black woman, it has a higher chance of being successful than when he married to a white woman, when he married to an Asian woman, when he married to an East Indian woman? The reason why, I know the answer is rhetorical. It's a rhetorical question. The reason why is because the only woman who gonna have some type of inkling of an understanding of his predicament is this black woman. And with that being the case, with that being the very real reality, they'll still get up here and act like all these other women are better than black women. They'll still do that. See what I'm saying? And
okay, I'm lost, man. But now if the black woman understands the black man's plight, then why doesn't she understand when it comes to his economic issues?
Because brothers they be flim-flamming. They don't listen, brother. Look at Jay Morrison. Jay Morrison started the Treff Fund. He put on a suit. He talked really well about Black Wall Street, and all he did was use the fact that he was black and well-dressed and could speak, and got $13 million from black people and lost the money and they gave black people nothing back. You think Jay Morrison could have went to the white community and did that? You think he could have went to the Asian? You think he could have went to the Hispanic? You think he could have went to the Jewish community? The only community he could perpetrate a fraud like that is this black community. Same thing with Tariq Nasheed and all the rest of them. The only place they can.
Okay, so then what about all of these white people who go to the white community and commit that same fraud?
can
What
afford.
about these sisters? What about these sisters? What about these sisters who built all these fake companies and defrauding the black community?
What are you talking
I mean,
about?
it happens in every community.
Talking about Black Lives Matter?
No, right. Well, that part of it too. But I'm talking about there's this sister on YouTube, a few of them actually, who created these fake businesses, these fake credit fixing businesses, and all these other businesses that are fake. They're not real, and they built money from the black community as well. Just like white women have done it, Asian women have done it, Hispanic women have done it. Every person, every race on this planet has defrauded their own.
Right. That's not the point that I'm making. You asked me why don't black women understand black men predicament, current economic,
Right.
and the only point that I'm
But
making.
then you went into something about fraud.
Right, because this is what happens. What brother's gonna do? He's gonna perpetrate a fraud. See, we talk. So for example, right? We out one side of our mouth when we want to have excuses and when we want to be judged on the curb, we can't be like, well, y'all know my predicament, and like Ayanda, if he can, we know we shouldn't expect too much from our men. If he can only provide the little menial things in life, then we should just accept that because we know the position they're in. So you can't be good with that, brother. Then on the other side, now you got on sunglasses and a cigar running your conquered mouth. So you can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that you can't tell me you a king over here and then say don't expect much from me because I'm a peasant over here. And this is what these sisters are seeing. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways.
But what I'm saying is why do these sisters believe that that black men are that way? Because all black men are not like that. All black men don't run around. Look, there are there are a majority of black men who are middle class and upper middle class. And then you have, just like with every other race, you have your lower class. Now, if you're talking about those lower brothers, then yeah, I can understand you coming from that perspective. But the middle class and upper middle class black men they build multi-billion-dollar companies. I've shown multiple videos on my channel of because black women are talking about what black men don't build. Well, that's a goddamn lie because I've showed black men building multi-billion-dollar companies. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't have the motivation to get up and do, it has nothing to do with the white man holding you down. I mean, there's some issue. There's some times when that happens. But if you really want to get out there and do it, you can, because I've shown it.
D.O.D. Let me ask you a question. So, a majority of black men are not in the middle class. A majority of black men.
Yes, they are. Middle and upper middle class.
Go read the actual. Go read that stuff.
54%.
Hold on, brother. 20%. 20% of never married black men are middle class. Only 20. 44% of divorced black men are middle class. Only 44%. That's a minority of those men. Now, with that being a minority of those men, that represents the majority of black men.
Right, but you're putting them in a group. You're saying 20% over here for this group, 44% over here for that group. But when you add them together, what do you come up with?
Majority are not in the middle class.
The majority are in the middle. If 20% of black men who have never been married are in the upper middle class, and then you said 44% of black men who are married and got divorced are in the middle class. Well, that's 60. What's that? 62%.
Okay, let's say
60%. So that sounds like the majority to me.
Okay, now let's say if that is true. What was the percentage of black men that I told you get married?
You said 30.
So that 62% gets cut in half, doesn't it?
Mary love.
Now listen, hold on.
Okay. So then would be okay, but it would. Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Let's follow it out. That would get cut in half. So let's take married black, because when sisters are talking, they're talking about black men that's available. See, this is what Kevin Samuels was doing, because he quoting the AI.
Black men available from what crowd? From upper class, middle class, or lower class?
Brother, do you realize 1% of black men can be defined as upwardly mobile. 1%. Only 1%.
And that's for all men. But that's for all men.
No, black 1%.
That's for all men. Amiri, what do you mean?
No, listen. 1% of black men can be defined as upwardly mobile. But of that,
hold on. What do you mean by upwardly mobile?
Whatever you want to define. I mean, whatever you want to define.
No, I'm asking you to define it. You're using the term, so I'm asking you what it means to you. Okay,
well, I'll say it then. That's talking about black men who make 100,000 or more. Only 1%. Okay. So all that upwardly mobile, that's only 1% of black men. Now, what I'm saying is that say you have black men who are in the middle class, and majority of black men that are in the middle class, they are older and married. That's what the AIU report was saying. So when you see
that was but you just said that wasn't the case.
No, that's not what. Listen to what I'm saying. When majority of black men are not in the middle class, they're not.
But you just said they were and married.
No, listen to what I'm saying. What I said was majority of the black men that are middle class, those men are older and married already,
and they're in the middle class.
And that make it to the middle class. And
go ahead.
Because keep in mind, when you hear Obsidian and Kevin Samuels and the rest of them quoting that statistic, that's talking about by the time the black men reach 50. So for us to get an accurate barometer of the performance of black men, we would have to have a control for that statistic. We would have to see, okay, so at what age does the average white man become middle class? At what age does the average East Indian become middle class? At what age
do we have those figures?
I don't have those figures, but I'm sure we could find them. But I would venture to say I doubt very seriously is by the time they turn 50. See, we are. So you're saying before? Okay, so you're saying black. So you're saying black men don't hit middle class until they turn 50. I didn't say that. That's what the statistic everybody.
That's what I'm saying. So so what statistics? Because you just said you didn't have those statistics.
Huh?
You're saying black men don't hit middle class until they turn 50.
That's what look. When you hear Kevin Samuels and Obsidian and all the rest of them quoting that statistic, that's not what I'm saying. That's what the document they're quoting. That's what it says. That most black men will reach the middle class by the time they hit 50. Now that's what the report said.
But right. But by the time they hit 50, but they can be middle class 40, right? 30s.
They right. The fact that is most is not. Most aren't. We're not. We don't want to be honest, man. Look, most brothers are going to be working class or lower. And I'm not saying that to shame nobody.
But that's middle class.
That's the working class is not middle class.
So what do you call the working class?
The middle class is defined by home ownership. Do you own your that is class ethic?
So if you own a home, you're middle class.
Yes, marriage, home ownership, healthcare, access to healthcare
has nothing to do with how much you make a year.
Yeah, that plays a part in it.
Okay, so you have to. So if you're making 75,000, but you don't own a home, you're not in the middle class. If you're making 75,000, you don't own a home, and you're not married, you're not in the middle class. If you're making $75,000 and you don't own a home, and you're not married, and you don't have any children, you're not in the middle class, right?
That changes it. That changes it because it's going to be relative to household structure, family structure.
So again, it has nothing to do with how much you're making. Then is that what you're saying?
No, listen. A single person who making 75,000, they're gonna be they may be considered middle class because it's just them. The only person.
What do you mean they may be? So if they're making 75,000 and you're married, you're not in the middle class.
That's 2 mouths to feed.
So then you're not in the middle class.
You got to look at the relativity of the tables of wherever you at. Because look, check this out: 75,000 in Nevada ain't gonna be the same thing as 75,000 in New York, or the same thing as 75,000 in Georgia, where I am. It depends on
so then it depends on the state.
It depends
if you're middle class or not, depending on how much you make.
It depends on the cost of living of where you are. It depends on home, like just these things that are considered middle class ethic. Like this is one talking point we hear. Majority of black men don't have kids. Okay, round of applause. So why don't a majority of them own homes?
Because they don't want to.
Oh, so you don't want to own something that's going to build you wealth?
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying a lot of people.
Well,
but a lot. But Amiri, it has more to do with just owning a home. It's more than that. All the steps that you have to get to be able to own a home. Maybe keeping people from owning homes.
Listen to what I'm saying. I know it's more than that, but a
Right.
key component of middle class, what typifies the middle class, is home ownership. And the reason why is because that's what creates wealth. The only reason why we have this wealth gap between
what if you own a condominium? Is that considered middle class?
it's a piece of property you own.
But instead of a house and you own a condominium, would you be considered middle class? Are you making 75?
If that's your home and you own it, that's your home and you own it. If it's built,
So anything that you own, so if you own something, then that makes you middle class.
if home ownership.
You have to have home ownership to be considered middle class.
Hold on, D.O.D. We're going into a bunch of tangents. Look, remember when I talked about the New Deal and how Franklin Roosevelt came up with the New Deal? Those New Deal policies created the middle class, and what I'm telling you is that is typified by a couple of things. It's typified by you need a good career, some type of income, steady income, being able to put your kids through college. At that time, it was pension and retirement, and now amount of time is 401k and home ownership. The government created. See, we think of public housing as an urban fixture, but this isn't true. The government created entire suburbs that was paid for by public dollars and just funneled white people into them and gave them all these great deals and incentives to get these homes, while leaving black people in urban areas with no lifeline out of there. That's what's created the modern wealth gap, because now that those homes that white people were getting, like in Levittown, Pennsylvania, for $10,000, $5,000, right now today that home is worth $500,000. So now the white
again, I mean, that's you prove it. That's what I'm saying. You're proving my point when you say things like that. Could that be the reason why a lot of black men and black women don't own homes, but still making enough to qualify to buy a home, but because of those reasons they can't?
Why don't they go buy a home then?
You just told us the reasons why.
No, you can buy a home now. Look, man.
Come on.
Check this out. Do you realize that there are places in this country where the black male unemployment rate is double digit? Do y'all realize that?
The black male unemployment or employment rate?
Unemployment rate is double digit. There are places in this country that you don't see on Love and Hip Hop, that you don't see on YouTube, that you don't see on social media, where the men are unemployed at a double digit percentage. And I don't think,
which is probably why they don't own homes.
But that's not the point. What I'm telling you is that we will not focus on what we need to be focused on. And I'm talking about specifically black men.
What should black men be focused on?
Education.
Okay.
Employment.
Right.
Healthcare.
Okay. And you're saying black men are not focused on that?
No. See, because we think we want. But listen to what I'm saying. What we want to be told is that we're doing better than what we're actually doing. And the facts on the ground is different. I made a post about this on Facebook the other day. I said, why is it whenever I go out somewhere, I see nothing but a bunch of young black dudes asking people for money?
Okay, well, I see that here in Vegas. I see young white men doing that.
So
I guess it depends on the population. Okay, it depends on what city, the type of city that you live in.
I do, but you don't think that has anything to do with the fact that black male unemployment is so high? You don't think that got nothing to do with it?
Well, yeah. If you ask for money, you're not employed. Then yeah.
Don't you think we should be more focused on our employment?
Right. But for those who want to be employed, Amiri, a lot of bums out there just don't want to work.
These young brothers don't want no jobs.
They're not working. Because you said there's jobs out there, right? And they're not working. So that tells me they don't want to work.
Or well, let me ask you this: how many jobs do we provide as a group of men to our youth?
Well, it depends on it depends because, like I said, I've shown black men who own billion dollar, multi-billion dollar companies, multi-million dollar companies, who own companies who employ, like in construction, all the way down to barbers in the black community who they don't employ them in the thousands. Of course, if you're a barber, you may employ one or two other people. But yeah, black men employ other black people from the barber shop level all the way up to the billion-dollar companies.
Brother, that's simply not true. We can go look at this stuff statistically.
I've already done that. It's on my channel. I've talked about that.
Most black businesses are sole proprietorships. We don't employ anybody. Matter of fact, most black businesses aren't even businesses. They're hustles. They're
right. But when black women say they own the most companies, you turn around and say that's true. So which is it?
Why are you making it about black women? I'm talking about.
No, I'm making it because you're making it about black men. You can say black men do this, but you can't say white men do the same thing. Asian and Hispanic men do it, and they're women as well.
Black men always deferring to somebody else.
No, because I'm trying to get everybody to understand that it happens in all races. And we can talk about maybe some solutions. We can talk about maybe some solutions, but don't make it seem like it's just the black man is the worst man on the planet that just don't want to do anything, because it's not true.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. When you look at the data, what group of men are on the bottom across the board? Which one?
The black man.
Okay, then. So you know what that means?
No, not across the board, because Hispanic men are some on some of those lists that are lower.
Do you know that when it comes?
But for the majority, go ahead. I'll give it to you.
But do you know that the majority of when it comes to skilled tradesmen, black men only represent that at 6%.
But why is that?
We know why it is, because he want passport. He want to talk about ass. He want to listen to angry man talk dumb shit with a cigar in his mouth talking about dumb shit. He want to listen to Andrew Tate. He don't want to listen to nothing that's gonna get him to try and do anything else. So
but Kevin Samuels was telling black men to give him the stems, right?
D.O.D. And then what happens? Then when I bring it up, when I bring that up, and start talking about what are the consequences of a statistic like that, they're going to try and say you hate the black man, you pandering to black women, all this other shit to avoid confronting that problematic statistic, as if that isn't a problem.
I would like to know why that exists. That statistic is that way. Why is that?
Why you think it is?
I have no idea. I'm asking you because it seems like you researched it.
Why we know why it is. We're not focused on it.
Well,
Look, one.
You're saying something about they're sitting on Kevin Samuels' channel and Angry Man channel, all the other clowns' channels that they're sitting on. I'm asking you the real reason why, not because they're sitting on Kevin Samuels' channel listening to him. Why? Are black men are not in these fields?
I'm about to tell you why. The number one sought after position in America is social media influencer. That's why.
Right, but that's angry. That's Kevin Samuels. The men that are listening to them, why aren't they in those fields?
I just told you why.
Because they're listening to Kevin Samuels?
He don't care about that. He don't want to do that. That sounds like work.
That's what I said here. I said these brothers don't want to work. That's why they're not in those fields. Because they don't want to work.
Okay.
They bums don't want to work.
So you saying 94% of black men are bums then? Because only 6%.
Because it's only because 6% are in that field. Those 94% of other black men are in other fields.
Yeah, but those are skilled trades. What
right.
This is what that statistic means. What it means is that many black
But
men.
you say yourself, a lot of black people are in the government, postal service and all that. That's what I'm saying.
But
So
it's
if
not,
just because 6% are in the field that you're talking about, don't mean the other 94% of black men aren't doing anything.
no, that's not what I'm. The point that I'm hinting at is this: is that many black men are unskilled labor. They're
Okay.
working in warehouses as
Okay.
unskilled labor.
Okay.
And
But they're working.
yeah, but this is the point with that though, and it's the same thing, and it's no different than what I tell my sons. If you put yourself in a position of being unskilled labor, you're gonna be the first person they get rid of. It's gonna be you.
That's right.
Because
True.
you unskilled labor, they can afford to get rid of you.
True.
And the other point that I'm making about this is with the great advent of social media and with the
Okay.
great advent of technology, there is no unanimous disposition or posture from black men about doing anything that's going to affect the future, not only for themselves, but also for their children, the black boys that they claim they doing. We on red pill because we trying to tell them about these women and about female nature, but the nigga don't know nothing about the nature of business because that's why he failed at it. He don't know nothing about the nature of politics. That's why he ain't involved in his own local politics where he live. But he'll be running his mouth. He'll be a nigga in Chicago who ain't involved.
But I agree on the Mary. So you're saying that every black man or black woman has to be involved in politics?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying because he's the one who.
Okay, well, that's not going to be true because not every white man, Asian, or Hispanic man are involved in politics in their community either.
D.O.D, I'm gonna have to mute you if you keep interrupting me. Let me make my point. I understand what you're saying. The point that I'm making is they can afford that. You can't. See, they can afford. See, the Asian can afford to be a little bit apolitical. A white man don't care about it. He can afford that. The Hispanic, he can afford. The one who's in a unique position where he can't afford to do what everybody else is doing is the brother, is the black, is you. You the one who can't afford that. And the reason why I'm saying you can't afford to be apolitical is because it is your own nation and country that has pushed you in the position you're in, and they've done it through politics. So the person who benefits the most from political engagement and political involvement is you, brother. But like I said, it'll be a nigga in Chicago who ain't thought about his local politics, but he'll be doing a podcast on Stacey Abrams, who's running for governor in Georgia. The same black ass Negro. And then when they got a bunch of migrants in this town, a bunch of migrants in Chicago, he gonna sit here and say it's because the white man. But he wasn't engaged in his local politics when he should have been.
Okay, but do you not? But not Amiri. But Amiri, do you think just because he would have been involved in this local politics, that the outcome with these migrants would have been any different?
Probably not, but that's not the point. See, that's
what's the point? Because if the point is not to make change, that if the point is that whatever you do is not going to, like you said, affect change, then what is the point?
Listen to what I'm saying. You asked me a hypothetical. I can't.
No, I'm not asking no hypotheticals.
Hey, this is what you asked me. You said so you're telling me if their brothers would have been involved, would they still be having I can't answer that. I don't have a crystal ball.
Okay, but you did answer, and now you're changing your answer.
Well, no, I didn't. So this is what I'm making.
Okay.
You could have asked me this. Do I think it would have been harder for them to do what they're doing with those migrants? Yes.
But would it have affected? Would the outcome be the same or not?
No.
Even if it's harder for them to do, would the outcome be the same?
No, it wouldn't.
Okay.
But
we don't know that though, right? But we don't know, right?
We don't know that. So you're asking me for an educated guess, and I'm gonna say no. And this is the point that I'm making. We can only benefit from more political involvement. Period. Because look, what you're seeing now is now they're getting involved, but that's reactionary. If you're involved the whole time, it's being proactive. It's like they say, it's better if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's
so. Let me ask you this: Who runs the government in Chicago? Who's the mayor of Chicago? Right. And did anything change about these migrants?
No.
Okay.
But that's because,
Because you said that black people were involved, and we got black people who are in the government there, and nothing changed. I mean, I don't get what you mean, what you're saying, brother.
but listen to what I'm saying. If this goes back to what I said. I said even the politicians do it. Vote for me because I'm black. No, politics is not just voting. Politics is everything. You have to be engaged in the process. And so when you send a person when you send a person to office, they're going there to represent your interests. They're going there to represent your interests. But what one thing we do know about black people generally is we don't really turn out like that. That's why when it was Obama, we always turning out. But what you got to realize is that even though we turned out to get Obama elected, we never turned out to get Obama selected, because he was selected before he was elected. Because I remember I worked on the Obama campaign. Most black people were not supporting Barack Obama because they didn't think white people was going to vote for him. They didn't think he was going to win. But what I'm saying is that the candidacy of Barack Obama, even though it had the support of black people, had a black face on it, everything like that, we weren't the ones who selected him. We weren't the ones who groomed him. We weren't the ones who sent him to Washington with an agenda. See, so the entire part of the political process is creating an agenda, but that's something that you have to be actively engaged and involved in throughout the entire process. We don't do that. We don't do that. And this is my suspicion when it comes to this migrant crisis, that what's actually going on in the higher levels of government, the national security conversations and things of this nature, they know that they need an influx of population because of military challenges coming up. They need an influx of soldiers and of population, because there's going to be military challenges coming up in the future. This is a national security component to it. Then also to what some of it is these Republican governors who are sending these migrants, busing these migrants up to places like Chicago to cause a conflict amongst the black community and other democratic bases. They're doing that on purpose. Like a lot of those migrants that's going into Chicago, they coming from Texas. Because those migrants are coming across the border. So how they getting way up to Chicago? Who you think doing that? The Texas governor. So there's a political game going on here too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
Right, but you see what I'm saying? So, but the only thing that I'm saying here is that we can only benefit as a community if we focus on higher employment for black men, better access to health care for black men
that want to work,
and better educational achievement and opportunities for black men. I don't understand why that's so problematic. If I want to talk about that,
remember when I first came up here, I said I admire you for talking about those things. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. For those who want it.
Yeah, okay, well, right. But I don't think most don't want it. I think most do want it. I think a lot of brothers just don't see it. They're in an island. They're in an island of despair wherever they are. Because a lot of it has to do with if you look at a place like Milwaukee, the black male unemployment in Milwaukee is astronomically high.
Because they don't want to work.
I don't even think it's because they don't have no jobs.
But why? But why then?
I can't speak to the local politics or whatever, but I refuse to believe that the reason why we see double-digit black male unemployment in these areas is because those men just don't want to work. I don't see that.
You do believe black men do want to work. They just can't find jobs there because there's no job. There's no job there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But to me, it makes you're making it sound like they're just bums who don't want to work.
No. When I'm talking about I'm talking about the people on the internet and on social media. That's what I'm talking about. Because they ain't gonna he ain't gonna fire up a stream on that. You know why he ain't gonna fire up a stream on it? Because he ain't gonna get no views. But he gonna fire up a stream talking about these bitches and these hoes, because he know he gonna get views. Because what it is, he ain't got no goddamn job, and he living off the money he getting off of YouTube. and then getting on, then calling it a successful business when he don't employ nobody. You watch these other communities of content creators, they scaling up, they got businesses, they got staff, they got everything. He the one on the internet by himself in his struggle apartment like Kevin Samuels, running his fucking mouth a mile a minute. But see, Pearly, she done scaled up. She got a staff. She can employ people. Same thing with these other creators.
Right, but Amiri, she can employ people because she comes from a millionaire father. So yeah, she can do stuff like that.
Listen to what I'm telling you though. This is what I'm saying. I understand that. I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is this again, this goes back to the consequences of the condition in the state that we are in by and large as black men. That's the only thing I'm saying. I understand why. I understand the why.
Okay.
Well,
As long as you understand the why, I don't have an issue with what you're saying, because like I said, I've heard you talk about these issues before. I don't see why other brothers would be so up in arms about you speaking about issues like this, unless you're just saying that black men are bums and they don't want to take care of the children, they don't want to take care of the women. Then I can see there being an issue.
I'm gonna tell you what they want me to do, D.O.D. They want me to get on here and lie, and they want me to pretend like we all the same. See, they want me to pretend like they all like me. That's what they want me to do. See, I would be a great representative for them, but I refuse to sit here and lie. See, because you're not all like me. You're not all gonna just marry this black woman and raise these kids with her and be in a house with her and work yourself to the bone to make sure that her and your children have a life of leisure and comfort and have a better access to opportunity than you did. They're not going to do that, but they want me to sit here and pretend like they are. And this is why me and them are going to always have this showdown, because what I'm not about to let you do is pretend like we all the same. See, because what I know as a black man,
no one is all the same. No one is the same.
Listen to what I'm saying. What I know is this: it ain't that hard as a black man. It
isn't.
You can do it if you really want to do it.
If you want to. And that's what I said. I said, if you don't want to, then of course you're not going to. That's why I said, for those who want to work well, right. For those who want to get education and higher education, that's what they'll do.
Right? Like look at the bald mouth bandit. He really think like he on our level. He really think the bald mouth bandit. He really think that he on my or your level. He'll be on the internet. And what he gonna do? He gonna come on here. You think he gonna talk like what his real background and history says he is? He ain't gonna talk like he got 17 domestic violence charges. He ain't gonna talk like, because he wouldn't get no traction. What he gonna come on here? He gonna talk like he me, or he gonna talk like he you. Because what it's supposed to do is, because the fact we're all black men, it's supposed to hide the fact that he's an abuser, a bald mouth abuser whose life has been nothing but nigga shit.
Exactly. It's her entire life. And we've talked about, you and I have talked about that. I have.
Right.
So yeah, no, I get that's what I'm saying. That's the type of he's the type that don't want to do nothing.
Right.
But be a criminal. And then come on to YouTube and talk all that talk. I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the only reason why I have to make these distinctions, because what they want to do is they want to use black male identity as camouflage. Because these black women been lying, but you niggas do be on some bullshit. I be seeing you, brother. Not, am I saying this is most? Am I saying this is all? I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that this black woman just didn't wake up one day and decide to turn on you and start saying you wasn't shit. Okay? That came from a real experience. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, you can only talk from your experience. I get that.
Right. You know what I mean?
If a black woman has nothing but positive things, positive experience with a black man, that's what she's going to talk about. So I get that.
Right, so that's the only thing I be getting at, and the only reason why I have to talk about it as forcefully as I do is because what brothers want to do is they want to stop their ears. They want to stop their ears. They don't want to hear it. I'm not hearing you. But see, doing that is not going to solve our issues, because even while all this stuff is taking place, you got to realize that this isn't taking place in a vacuum, and that there are other factors and other things at play that don't portend a good future for brothers, even if they want a passport, bro. You see what I'm saying? So that's what, like, yeah, I can allow you to put your head in the sand, but doing that is not going to help you if I allow you to do that. So I have to talk about stuff so you can see what I see, because I can see what's coming.
Okay, so but okay, so the passport brothers is an issue, but the divestors aren't.
No, they're not. The investors aren't.
And the divestors are talking about the unaliving of black men and black boys, but that's okay.
That's problematic. I mean, I wouldn't co-sign that type of
But
rhetoric.
that's what they talk about all day long.
I mean, I would. Did you know why I don't know what they talk about? Because I don't watch them, so I don't know.
Okay, but I'm telling you what they're talking about. They're talking. Go check out any of the shows from the divested zone.
Well, I mean, check this out, right? I think what happens, and I talked about this even when I came on YouTube, I tried to bring people together because it is my belief that the mark of a true leader is not a person who joins consensus. It's a person who builds consensus. And that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to build consensus. But you can't build consensus with people who have already made the predetermination that they're going to be unreasonable. And this is what you find by and large on social media. But one thing I do know is this, is that I have not seen any press releases on Fox News or CNN or any other publication or media outlet talking about the divestment movement as some type of force within America.
And you won't. You know when you want to know why? Because they're talking about the unaliving of black men. But so as long, just like with Cynthia G, for her to survive as long as she did, talking about unaliving, aborting black male fetuses. If not for that white woman, Cynthia G would still be here talking that same talk. As long as it's about black men, unaliving black men and black boys, it's fine on YouTube and it's fine on most social networks.
But isn't her argument? Isn't the argument of Cynthia G saying abort black male babies? Wouldn't that be the solution to the problem that black men on YouTube represent when they're saying y'all raising these boys? Wouldn't that So instead,
it would be if she was saying abort black male children altogether, because there's no way in the world you're gonna sit up here and tell me, Amiri, that black women don't have issues in the black community.
Yeah, I understand.
Black women are out here doing a whole lot of dirt to black men and to themselves and to other black women. I mean, you can't tell me that if Cynthia G said abort, or if Cynthia G said don't have children with black men, period, I would have been okay with it. But she's specifically saying black boys.
Listen to what I'm saying. Do I think she went too far in that rhetoric? Yes, Cynthia has a tendency to go too far in her rhetoric. I've told her about that before. But the reason why she was saying black males specifically is because the one who've been online saying who raised these boys. See, they say who raised these children. They be saying
who raised them. But Amiri, who raised them?
Black men and black women been raising them.
Wait. Time out. I just want you to slow down and think about what you're saying, because we're about to really get into it. Okay. Who are raising these black boys in the black community, especially in these hood communities? Who's raising them?
Black men and black women. I've never, listen at my point, D.O.D. I've never subscribed to the notion that what's wrong with black boys is merely they ain't got no father. That's never been my ultimate analysis of what's wrong with I don't believe black boys are feminine. I don't believe they're emotional. I don't believe any of the stuff that we want to use through the prism of gender. The thing that's affecting black boys is political and economic disempowerment. This is what brothers will continue to skirt around and ignore, and they're going to exchange that problem and pick up the conservative assessment of what the problem is we ain't in the home. But then this is what I'm telling you, D.O.D. After they do that, they're going to turn around and say we the most involved fathers.
That's true.
Exactly. So if that's true, then how is their assessment of the problem true? You can't.
But Amiri, what you have to understand is the population of the black boys who don't have fathers in the home, those are the ones that are problematic. Those are the ones that are having issues. Now, I'm not saying, of course, if you have a black man and black woman in the family and they're married and all that, that the son or daughter can't grow up to be, to do things like with Taz. He came up in a two parent household, even though his parents may not be shit, but he did. And so that's what I'm saying. So just because of this, it's the individual as well.
Yeah, well, listen. Look, I'm not saying that boys don't need their dad or their father. I'm not saying that at all. Two-parent household is the best family structure for children. I think
exactly.
I think everybody would agree with that. But what I'm saying is that if there's not a man there, right? If the father's gone, whatever the case is, what the information and the data shows, Chris Grandison has talked about it, is that much of the adverse effects of not coming up with a father is mitigated when that boy has a strong, positive male role model.
I agree. That's what I just said. But you said it wasn't true.
Now check this out. No, listen to what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is this. Is that when it comes to on the community level, they don't see that. You know why a lot of these brothers don't see that? Is exactly what I'm telling you. Because black men, I hate this. I don't want to polarize it, but black men ain't trying to do that. See, look.
They're trying to do what?
I'm about to tell you. One of the reasons why we have been stagnant, especially since the era of the 60s and civil rights stuff, one of the reasons why we have been stagnant is because we are constantly those black people who are about community, who are about progress, who are about uplifting, who are about accomplishment. Those black people are constantly outnumbered by the ones who aren't. And so I agree with that. And so when you go into these areas and you see these black kids and they have these issues and these problems
raised by single mothers. Go ahead, you're right. Go ahead.
Single mothers and fathers.
No. That's what I'm saying. No, that's not true.
Okay, so then if they're not being raised by fathers, how can black men be the most involved? How can both
again, because the ones who aren't the black women who are raising black sons with no male involvement, those are the ones that are out there committing the crimes. Those are the ones out there that are feminine. Those are the ones that are out there not working. Those are the ones out there on the corner.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Why is the father not involved?
We don't know. I mean, it could be death. It could be that the father and mother never really knew each other. She got pregnant for a one night stand. I mean, it could be a number of reasons. It could be the fact that it was just a deadbeat dad. But it doesn't change the fact of who's raising these boys. Okay, and if it's a single mother, then it's the mother raising them.
Okay, so you think that the boy raised from the single mother just goes and commit a crime because he's feminine and he don't want work? You don't think it has nothing to do with the fact that there's very little economic opportunity where he's coming up at? You don't think that's part of his calculus?
No, I'm not saying that's all of that is part of it.
But say that again.
Everything you just said is the reasons why. It could be his economics. He's being raised by a single woman, so he's gonna be feminist because that's all he's seen. So there's no way for him to be any type of masculine.
I'm not of the opinion that most black boys that we run across.
I didn't say most.
Are
there's a small percentage of them are. There's a small percentage of them that are.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that we have, even though we're 13% of the population, we commit 50% of the homicides? Do you think that's because of the feminization of the black male?
No, I'm saying because most of those men who murder like that are raised by black women. They don't have a father in the home.
Okay,
and you said hold on, and you said yourself that was the case because you ran down a list of certain things as to the reason why certain black boys do certain things because of a father not being in the home or not having a male figure in their life.
Right. What I'm saying is that I'm not saying there isn't drawback to not having a father in the home. But what I'm
No,
saying,
because when you don't have a father in the home, that boy commits more crime. When there's not a father in the home, he gets into drugs and alcohol. When there's
economics,
not a father in the home, he doesn't have a work
that's
ethic. So he doesn't go to. So he's not concerned about working. It's just a litany of reasons why when
DOD.
he's raised by a single mother with no male influence, he ends up that way.
DOD. That's economic. See, and this is gonna go back to the thing. See, and this is why this is why I told you you have to be careful when you start having these conversations about these gender dynamics, because if a man is in the home and isn't the breadwinner, he's feminine. That's what the masculine middle class ethic is. If you don't provide for your family, then you a woman. See, and this is what I'm
Okay,
telling you.
let me ask you this: so is that true? Do you believe that?
I don't believe it's inherently true, no, but the way the society set up is true. That's
Okay,
what,
so yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way society is set up. Well, the way society is set up, a lot of things that are societal may not be true.
Now listen to what I'm saying. It may not be objectively true, but
Right.
the context is going to matter, because this is the thing. I could even argue that a man who's in a home with a woman and not the breadwinner, that boy who's sitting there watching his dad not be the breadwinner and not being the head of that family is in the same situation and same case as a child who ain't got a man there, period. I can make that same argument. This is why I'm very careful.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if the woman is making 120K and he's making 100K, you would give me that same conclusion?
What do you mean? Well, no, I mean, if you
Well,
had,
because she's the but she's the breadwinner, right? Now you're talking about just the man not doing anything at all. He's
no,
just there.
I'm talking about who the breadwinner. Look, head of household.
Well, if she's making 120, he's making 100. She's the breadwinner, right?
Yeah, she is.
Okay, but if a dude making 120, he's not sitting on his behind doing nothing.
That's
So
not
that brother, that boy has to see that. And growing up, that boy's not going to say, "Well, my mom making 120, my dad making 100, so I'm going to." So he's feminine.
no. Listen to what I'm telling you. The middle class ethic that came down from white men, white male hegemony, was that a man provide for his family. See,
Okay.
I've talked about this before. It's the same thing like what they would do on plantation, where they would deny black men pants. They would make black men wear long dresses and deny them pants. But why do you think he was doing that? He was doing that because he already seeded in everybody's mind that a man wears the pants. So then, how do you now injure a man that you want to subjugate, that you want to dominate, that you want to, for the lack of a better term, buck break?
By not giving him a job and giving it to his woman.
No, listen, by denying him pants. By denying,
right, I'm talking about right, but today I'm talking about by denying black men jobs and giving their jobs that would normally go to the black man to his woman. That even emasculates him too, right?
That's not even true either, because look, if you want to know who's displaced men in the labor market, it ain't black women, it's white women. Look, brother, I have the documents. In the 1960s, black men and black women comprised the majority of the labor force. Black men and black, they comprised the majority. When they started coming with these civil rights laws and stuff like that, they brought white women in, and white women displaced black men. That's why I asked you earlier.
That's what I said. And so if the black man is being displaced and the black woman is getting all the jobs, who is going to be emasculated?
What you mean if the black woman is getting all the jobs? She had those jobs. She was going to have those jobs anyway. She's never had.
But Mary, what I'm saying, okay. The black woman, but that's what I'm saying. So if you take the black man out of the workforce and you leave the black women in the workforce, who's going to be the breadwinner?
The black woman.
Who's going to be emasculated?
The black man.
That's what I said. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm not arguing that dynamic, but the thing that I don't like when we talk about it is we act like it's the black woman's fault, or like this black woman wrong for working, or like she wrong for going to school, or like she wrong for taking advantage of opportunities. She's not wrong for that.
No, I'm not saying that she's wrong for that. I never said that.
Okay. So so I understand it from that perspective, but even in our modern time, that like Black men today, right now, in 2024, are freer than they've ever been. Now you're seeing the same type of dynamic play itself out where they're bringing these migrants in, and what these migrants are doing, they're getting ready to set up shop. They're getting ready to start displacing brothers. And what?
Well, hold on. But Amiri, come on, you got to tell the people how they're going to be able to displace.
Okay,
you don't come in here dirt broke with no shoes on your feet, and you just take over a community. How does that happen?
I understand that this stuff is
no. I don't want you to understand. I want you to explain it to the people so they understand it. I know you understand it, but I want you to tell them. I want you to tell the people in your chat so they understand it. How that works.
It happens through the government making it possible, making it available through government policy.
To keep who on the bottom?
Well, black men.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Because don't make it sound like these motherfuckers just come over here and just start working harder than black men have or black women have. It's not true. If shop is being set up for you as soon as you come in here, then hey, you gotta step up on your on the black man and the black woman right there.
Right, but this is what I'm saying.
Setting it up for them before they even know what America even is about.
But right. But this is what I'm saying with that. Why are we acting as if that's a foregone conclusion? I would make the argument that for the last decade, brothers have been engaged in an unproductive gender war.
On YouTube. On YouTube.
YouTube is mass media. YouTube is the #1 information disseminating platform in the country, like in the world right now. YouTube.
Right, but not everybody listens to YouTube. Not everybody knows. If half of the people, if I went up there and say something ask about Cynthia G or divest, they wouldn't know what the hell I'm talking about. Red pill and all that shit. They wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Who are you talking
because
about?
Because I'm going just people on the street. Just walk by. Hey, have you heard of Cynthia G?
Well,
who? You know what red pill? You know what red pill is? What?
Cynthia G.
Have you heard about the divester movement? Huh? They don't know what I'm talking about.
No, listen, because it's not just this as a distraction. There are other distractions. Because nigga gonna want to focus on his favorite football team. Now I thought back when Colin Kaepernick was taking his knee, I thought black people made a vow that they wasn't gonna support or watch the NFL till Colin Kaepernick got his job back. But it appears that now in 2024, that's all they care about is who gonna win the Super Bowl and Usher and his performance. You know what I mean? We don't.
Well, of course, that's human nature.
Focus. Like
nobody supports our cause forever. Unfortunately, not black men, white, Asian, Hispanic, or anyone else.
You support it when it's done.
Everything runs its course.
No, you support it. You support it till it's done, and that's our problem. We don't support.
But what I'm saying is, no one does that. No group does that. Supports it until it's done. Eventually, it runs out of steam.
Who can least afford not to support it?
I understand that, but Amiri, human nature is not going to change.
So then our condition is perpetual then, because so long as we do something different, we're not going to get any different results. It's going to be the same vicious cycle of we get involved for a little while, then we go back to being distracted and go back to worrying about petty bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with the long-term life outcomes of us and our children. You see what I'm saying? We're going to continue
on YouTube. In the world outside of YouTube, that's not the case.
Right? Yeah. It's slim pickings, man. I mean, we can sit here and pretend and put our head in the sand and talk about, these red pill and relationships until you get your economics, your politics, and your education, achievement, and attainment right, and get those things really trending up for black men and brothers. They're gonna continue to have these issues that they're having as a demographic in a group of men.
I agree.
And part of what's really coming is there's going to be very little sympathy. Even the sympathy that he has gotten, he's not going to be getting that, because this country is no longer just for white people now. You have immigrants coming in, becoming a part of the Democratic Party, becoming a part of the Republican Party. You have Republican operatives from East India parroting and promoting conservative talking points that vilify black children, that don't highlight the fact of how we are disenfranchised even to this day. So
True.
on this is just it's going to be very little leeway for the black community, and especially black men. Nobody's going to feel sorry for it.
Well, see, when you say black community, I want people to understand that when I talk about black community, I'm talking about the black community who is in the upper class and the upper middle class. Those are black communities because those communities have family units. They have the black man and the black woman in a family in homes when the whole community is nothing but black people. That's the black community. Now we're talking about like in the hood. Yeah, you're gonna have your black people around there, but that's not. I don't call that a black community because it's dysfunctional. A lot of people. That's what a lot of people. That's for a lot of people. That's the black community, but for me, it's not.
Well, I mean,
the black community for me, the upper class and these upper middle class, the middle class and upper middle class. That's the black community that I speak about.
Right. There's truth to what you're saying, but there's the black community. It's all the black community. I mean,
but it's not.
A lot of, but look,
but it's not.
That 10% of black people you just talked about, they're not being employed by black people.
Say again?
I said that 10% of black people, like Senator Boyd, that's like 10%. That 10% of black people are not being employed by other black people. And I talked about this the other day. It's not wise to rest your laurels on something that you don't control at the end of the day. See, because this is what happens. When's the moment we start getting something because we got it going on, because we straight, we think we good, we think we straight, we think we arrived. But at the end of the day, it ain't you. It ain't you. And this is the point I always come back to, that because I can say that I make great money who I work for. I know it ain't mine. So you know what I do? I build my shit on the side. I got my stuff going on my own. I'm putting my own infrastructure together because I already know what history has taught me is that it is not wise to be dependent on somebody else. But that little
of course.
They start thinking they better. They got it going on, and I got my kids, and my kids got to come from 2-parent household. And you know what I'm saying? But that's just not wise. But let me let you go, D.O.D, because we've been up here 2 hours, and I'm sure other people want to come up and contribute to the conversation. But I appreciate you coming up. It was a respectful conversation, spirited, but respectful, and I appreciate that. And I wish you Godspeed.
Hey, brother, you too, Amiri, man. Like I said, I have much respect for you and what you talk about. There's some things, of course, I disagree with, like the time when the brick lady, I disagreed with that. But for the most part, I'm down with what you're talking about.
Let me address that real quick. My thing with the brick lady wasn't whether who did it or was it black men. I was merely responding to the rhetoric of what I was seeing on YouTube, and what I saw on YouTube and social media was, I ain't protecting nobody. Let the bitches get hit in the head with a brick. You said you were strong and independent, being punitive. Before they could come up with, she lying on us. That's what they were saying. Then they was talking about what they was doing. They was going through this woman's social media, looking for any inkling or anything that she's ever done wrong so they could try and nullify the fact that she was a victim. And the problem, and what I took a particular exception with that coming from black men is them doing that to her. But then when white society does it to you when you're Mike Brown, when white society does it to you when you're Alton Sterling, when white society does it to you when you're Trayvon Martin, everybody's supposed to break out the violin, but then you want to do it.
Unifying black men and women.
Hold on, D.O.D. But then you want to you when they're saying that you're the villain, you want to do it to a person who's saying they're a victim. It just litigate whatever it is on the merits or the facts. Why do we have to start talking about, let's you bitches get y'all strong and independent, and I ain't gonna protect anyway, and that's what y'all get. And ooh, look here, she had a video where she was twerking. Ooh, look, she a feminist. all this other bullshit. So you want to be able to do it to people, but nobody can do it to you. That's where I was coming from with it. I didn't even respond to it till after it went viral, and I was just responding to what I was seeing on the internet and the rhetoric coming from brothers. Because how dare you? How dare
Right,
you?
but Amiri, that rhetoric was coming from black women saying that black men don't protect them.
They
That
don't.
black men, but they do. I've shown videos and have done live streams of black men dying over black women that they didn't even know protecting them.
Right. That's episodic though. That's like an episode. Well, look.
So okay, but that's black men protecting black women. You can't expect every black man or every white man, Asian or Hispanic, in a situation to protect their women. It doesn't happen like that. It depends on that individual man.
Okay, so I'll concede that, and I appreciate you coming up because I don't want to go back. You know, I'm off that anyway, but I do appreciate you for coming up, brother, and thank you.